So apparently we are running out of clean drinking water because of AI. I don't know what's going on, but let's go down this rabbit hole together. Check this out.
We're running out of clean drinking water. The UN just released a report that says we are entering our global water bankruptcy era. On today's note of existential crisis, there's actually a lot of contributing factors to why we are running out of drinking water. The obvious one that we have the most control over is AI and AI usage, which is not great to say because we don't really have that much control over whether tech billionaires decide to ramp up their AI control. I made a video in 2025. TikTok, of course, restricted it and took it down, but it talked about how in the year of 2025 alone, AI used more water, more clean, fresh water than all of the water bottling companies globally for that year, combined, by the way. The second, of course, is climate change, which, again, we have a lot of control over, but it's the corporations that are really driving the issues of climate change in our communities. In the beginning of 2025, there are multiple scientific organizations that found that the water cycle is changing and being disrupted, and it is due to climate change, which again, AI is also a factor into. It's just like a running circle of things. The most simplistic answer is that over-extraction. We're using up our fresh water more than it is being replenished by the water cycle and the systems in the world, right? So we are using our water from our aquifers, our freshwater lakes and rivers, our only clean water sources that we are, much more than it is being replenished. And we have now entered what is seen as a global bankruptcy era. This is in a time where 2.2 billion people don't have access to clean drinking water, or have very little access to it, and it's only going to get worse from here. I'm only one person, but I'm going to look into ways that I can conserve water and be more cognizant of climate change activities that I might unknowingly be participating in, right? And that's something that I implore everyone who watches this video to do. It might not seem like it makes a difference, but imagine if like 1 billion people eventually make the decision to start conserving water and start being cognizant of the things they're doing every day.
This is how AI uses water, visually explained. Every time you ask AI a question, that request is sent to a data center and processed by thousands of AI chips. Because the hardware in our phones and laptops isn't powerful enough to do it, these data centers need two things to operate. First, they need electricity to run. In 2024, data centers use 2% of the world's electricity, but this number is for all data centers that keep the internet running. We don't know what share of that can be attributed to AI alone. It's estimated that a single AI request uses 10 times more energy than a standard search. But this estimate is based on AI models from 2023, which are much smaller than the ones we have today. Second, they need cooling systems to prevent overheating. Most cooling systems use fresh water, and the average data center consumes 300,000 gallons of water every day, which is equivalent to 19,000 showers. And depending on the cooling method used, data centers may lose some or all of this water and need constant replenishment. Unfortunately, we don't have precise or reliable numbers for how much energy or water AI uses alone, because tech companies aren't revealing the size of their newest AI models. What we do know is that AI developments and usage are likely to keep increasing over the next few years, which will require more data centers, aka more electricity and water than before. Thankfully, some solutions are starting to emerge to make AI more energy efficient. And here are 3 you should know about. First, we could run AI on our personal devices instead of data centers because they've been getting more powerful hardware. This is called Edge AI, and we're already seeing signs of it. For example, the new iPhone iPhone can run basic AI features on your device directly without sending those requests to a data center. Another solution is called model distillation. The idea is to create smaller models based on large models to make them more energy efficient and cost efficient for specific tasks. Because we don't always need the biggest and most advanced model if a task is simple. The same way we don't need a Formula 1 car to deliver a pizza. Finally, the AI chips and data centers are getting more efficient, which means they need less energy to produce the same output. Over the past 8 years, the energy cost to generate one token on an NVIDIA GPU went down from 17,000 joules to 0.4.
There's a lot of uncertainty around the energy and water cost of AI, but more people are investigating it now, and I found a couple of experts that I'm going to try to interview. And when that happens, I will post it here.
Data centers store and transfer all the digital information we use, so they run very, very hot. The cheapest and most common way to cool them is water, a lot of it.
Water tends to be much cheaper than power, and so it's a pure financial decision for many players.
In just one day, the average data center could use 300,000 gallons of water to cool itself, the same water consumption as 100,000 homes, according to researchers at Virginia Tech, who also estimated that 1 in 5 data centers draws water from stressed watersheds, mostly in the West.
There is, without a doubt, risk if you're dependent on water. These data centers are set up to operate 20 years. So what is it going to look like in 2040 here, right?
That's why when CyrusOne, formerly a REIT but purchased this year by investment firms KKR and Global Infrastructure Partners, moved into the drought-stricken Phoenix area, it used a different, albeit more expensive method of cooling.
So that was sort of our aha moment where we had to make a decision. We changed our design to go to zero consumption water so that we didn't have that sort of risk.
Realizing the risk in New Mexico, Meta ran a pilot program on its Las Lunas data center to reduce relative humidity from 20% to 13%, lowering water consumption. It has since implemented this in all of its centers. But Meta's overall water consumption is still rising steadily, with about 1/5 of that water last year coming from areas deemed to have water stress. It does actively restore water and set a goal last year to restore more water than it consumes by 2030, starting in the West. But while companies with their own data centers can do that, data centers that lease to multiple clients are increasingly being bought by private equity firms in search of high-growth real estate.
There's a lot of new players that may not be as sophisticated, that may be looking at a short-term time horizon, that aren't worried about what the watershed looks like in 10 or 20 years because they're probably not going to be around.
AI needs water. Microsoft has been using massive data centers cooled by water to train its large language models. So in order to keep a data center cool, you need to pump in lots of water to keep things up and running. Microsoft said its global water consumption jumped to nearly 1.7 billion gallons a year, mainly due to its AI research.
You've seen a lot of battles at the local level with residents pushing back because they're like, we need drinking water, we need water for our crops, and these things come in and guzzle up so much water.
AI needs water.
Everybody loves AI right now. But who's paying the price for this convenience? And I don't just mean money. I'm talking about air, water, and Black and brown communities. Happy Black History Month. They're putting AI in everything right now. Your phone, your photos, your email, your apps. More AI means more data centers, more resources, and more environmental racism. AI data centers. Those buildings that run ChatGPT, image generators, they have to stay cool 24/7. And a lot of those centers use water-based cooling systems. We're talking hundreds of thousands of gallons of water a day. Some even use millions.
Millions of gallons of water a day.
And here's the question we should all be asking. What water are they using? Is it recycled water? Is it sewage water? Is it fresh water? Our natural resources are finite. We do not have unlimited access to clean water. We don't have endless energy. The last time I checked, they weren't making new land, yet we're building more facilities, but we're acting like we do because AI is accessible and it's trendy. AI is dependent on natural resources. It should not be used leisurely. It is not a toy, not for every tiny unnecessary task. This is an energy intense, resource-hungry tool. Most of these data centers, they are not in wealthy, powerful neighborhoods. More often in working-class communities with majority Black and brown populations, the same pattern as highways, landfills, refineries, and power plants. New shiny technology, same old zip code paying the price. And on top of that, we're overusing it. We are abusing it. People are using AI as a personal therapist. Every decision, every email, trendy photo, what should I text them back? For jokes. We are using AI for simple things that we used to think through. Every AI prompt hits a server. Every server needs electricity. Most of those centers require large amounts of water. So all of those small uses, what should I eat for dinner, stacks up to real environmental costs. So when we talk about Black history this February, we also need to talk about who bears the cost of progress. And by no means am I anti-AI. I am just pro-intentional use. Please don't turn trends into environmental damage. Think about who's impacted. Ask which communities are living next door to these buildings. Our resources are finite and our communities are not disposable. Happy Black History Month.
Man, it's like this life is just a joke at this point, man. We got AI drinking water now. And it's actually harming our waters. That's crazy, man. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. What's next, man? now we have to feed the AI food. Like, man. Can we just end all of this? Like, for real. It's just a joke. This life is a joke at this point, man. For real. It's like cringe. Laughable. Very laughable.
Humans use water a lot more than just for drinking and growing food. For example, AI, and honestly, all tech. According to Solve.co, water is used to cool the data centers, generate power that fuels them, and manufacture the hardware that makes AI possible in the first place. Water usage is literally embedded in every single layer of AI's existence. It takes water to cool the systems, it takes water to create computers, it takes water to train the AI. And yes, this goes for any sort of data that we're using, your email servers, Google, TikTok, Instagram, it's all using water. Obviously, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna advocate for less energy usage entirely. I'm gonna advocate for less social media usage entirely. But what gets me the most bent out of shape about AI is it uses the most water out of all of these different things. Here's kind of more precisely how. There's water pumped into the power plant, there's water pumped over here into the data center, and it's to cool the data centers. Because, I mean, think of just your laptop, right? It gets hot when you use it. This is essentially like thousands of computers. They're going to get hot and overheat, so they need to be cooled. And so cold water is pumped through pipes to cool it down. And what happens to water when it gets too hot? Steam. Yes, there is water loss. When it comes to AI, everybody's saying, no, none of the water's getting lost. Yes, it gets lost as steam. No, it's not totally lost. It will rain down somewhere else. So this area could potentially be thrown into a drought because too much water is being used by AI, taken out of this area and rained down somewhere else. So if you care about fresh water usage for yourself, because you do need to drink water to survive, and you also care about the planet, consider using less AI. Consider using less tech in general, buy your tech secondhand, and just be mindful with your usage.
What is their goal with this, man? Seriously. Because it's not to help us, obviously. And it's just like, I use AI. I be using AI for my thumbnails, you know? So it's like, wow. These people are so evil, man. It goes to show you how evil they are, right? So this guy says that disclosure is coming, basically, and they will reveal themselves pretty soon, coming soon. And this will be the biggest thing that happens to humanity. You thought the Jeffrey Epstein files was crazy? Well, check this out.
Disclosure is about to happen. The biggest event in human history is about to take place. A lot bigger than the collapse of the Soviet Union. Trust me on that. And it's going to open up a whole new sense of future and optimism, an opportunity to reassess what is the state of the world, which totally sucks right now, good and bad, and start thinking about how to go forward. People are already planning their events in a post-disclosure mindset. And then once we get disclosure, oh boy, things get really interesting.
So if space is real, why do they build bunkers? Right? Check this out.
Have you ever thought about the fact that all these billionaires wouldn't be building bunkers if we could go to space?
Think about that, like, for real. Come on, y'all. I know we all had that thought. It's like, how did they know what I was thinking? It's because they read in our minds. And how do they do that exactly? Well, check this out.
Did you know that tech can actually read your mind real time, and it's been used on the public since the early 2000s? See, tech can be used to look at EEG scans and see your thoughts, intentions, and also emotion. In some of these experiments, they showed the subject 10 different objects. They'd be put into an MRI machine and they would have to think about each object for a few seconds. Afterwards, the machine was able to correctly state each and every single one of these objects out loud.
And working only from her brain activity patterns as read out by the scanner, was ready to tell us in its own voice what it believed was the first object Megan had been thinking about.
I think the word is knife.
The computers can even tell where you have been because based on your brain scans, they can see what scenes are familiar to you. In 2008, this technique was actually used by the police in India, where a woman in India was convicted of unaliving her fiance because based on her EEG scans, they saw that she was familiar with the method of poisoning and the location of his unaliving. And in 2009, they were actually working on technology that was more covert than this. They wanted to use a beam of light that they would project right in the center of your forehead. And based on the reflections from the receptor, it would know exactly what you're thinking. And the person being studied would have no idea that they would have this beam of light on their forehead. Multiple governments and companies at this time were wanting to use this information.
Potential tool for
It's a potential
police
tool, absolutely.
in the case of break-ins.
You might be able to tell if someone's been in an Al-Qaeda training camp before.
Have any national security agencies been in touch with you?
Not in the US.
Anywhere in the world?
Yes, in Germany.
Including companies who are wanting to figure out the best way to sell towards people. It was called neuromarketing.
Scientist Gemma Calvert, co-founder of a London company called Neurosense. Do you have a lot of clients?
Yes, such as Unilever, Intel, McDonald's, Procter & Gamble, MTV or Viacom.
And she says it's a growing field.
What we've seen is a sort of snowballing effect over the last few years. I think there are about 92 neuromarketing agencies worldwide.
And at the time of this video in 2009, they had already been using neuromarketing for years. And with so many people saying that their iPhones, their phones in general, their AirPods are reading their minds, I want you to look at this one patent that AirPods has. And don't forget, in 2008, remember they convicted that woman in India based on her EEG scans.
I was scrolling TikTok, social media, or something, and then an ad pop up, and you was like, wait a minute, I just was thinking about that. Whole time these ads, these phones, these technologies actually be reading your mind, and I'm going to prove it to you. In addition to that, I want to teach you that you already have the answer to everything. This is why I call it you already be knowing, because whole time you actually already do be knowing. Close your eyes, ask yourself a question. Now when you hear yourself asking yourself that question, you're not actually thinking those thoughts. Your vessel is. Your higher self is on another dimensional plane, not this one, but that part of you is the one that helps you move throughout lifetime and make decisions and choices. Then you act through this body. See, the reason why I say close your eyes and listen to your mind, because you can actually hear your thoughts. And so can these devices.
So I want to share with you the update regarding Apple AirPods. I've reported in the past that they are using this technology to scan people's brainwaves, collect people's thoughts, essentially reading people's minds. But now there's more information coming to surface that they're filing patents for this. I want to share with you this clip and then offer some more important insights after it. Here it is.
Did you know Apple just applied for a patent so that they can retrofit AirPods to read your mind? Or they didn't apply, they filed a patent. So what it is AirPods, they're fitting them with like electromagnetic sensors. And do you guys remember when we talked about they could hook a like brain machine up to a person and they could look at something and they could use AI to generate the picture?
Yeah.
So that technology, rather than a full helmet, they have successfully mapped via sensors in AirPods. They've successfully done the same thing. What they said, I was reading in neuroscience.com or something like that. I was reading an article and it said what they're able to do is read that sensor, and they said everybody's electromagnetic pulses are different. And so it's not just an immediate read what you're thinking and then regurgitate it. It's a process of learning. And so they mine and log all of the thoughts, all of the pulses. And
Are these in the current headphones?
They may be testing stuff, who knows?
But they said, the article I found said they did it successfully 5 years ago.
Oh, weird.
Come on, Steve.
But you know how they like updated the iPhone 15 in France with a software update so it wasn't spitting out radiation?
Oh,
They
yeah.
probably can do the same thing with all of their.
Think about the
you
iPhone, like the heartbeat sensor and all that stuff. Not the iPhone, the watch.
Yeah.
Stuff they're taking out. Like, this could be a behind the scenes, like, they're like, we don't like what you're doing with the tech, so we're trying to shut you down.
Is that if they are able to scan your brain waves, they're able to read your consciousness, what is stopping them from actually now suggesting and influencing your consciousness, manipulating your consciousness, and giving it thoughts, suggestions, subliminal suggestions to influence your consciousness, to control your perception of reality. That means that collectively, all these Apple users, if they are not consenting to this, they are not aware of this, that means Apple can affect the collective consciousness of their users. This is a huge collective they control over because their user base is massive. And when you have this type of control over that many consciousness, you can really shift reality. You can take control of collective reality. This can be a problem when the company is not in the highest and greatest good for all. So this is a problem. Apple has already been proven to be a company that is in service for other nefarious reasons. Lately, they have been sued by the DOJ, so maybe they're flipping sides, but we don't really know the true intentions of Apple. But the fact that they're being very invasive with this technology, collecting people's consciousness, brain waves, brain cycles, not informing the users what they're doing with this data, this is already problematic, and it's already a problem for users not to have informed consent. And using this technology, it's also frying your brain with all these high frequency going through your brains. This is destroying your brain cells. Apple also has to inform users of the health consequences of using their devices. Now, the other thing that I want to point to is that in that movie Minority Report, they are showing to you a probable reality that they want to co-create with your consciousness. And this is the reason why they put that movie out in the collective consciousness, because they're shifting a certain portion of the collective conscious into the direction with Apple's technology. So if you have now devices that can scan people's thoughts, read people's minds, collect people's brainwaves and data, that means that if people have thoughts of committing crimes, thoughts of doing these type of activities, well, Apple's now collecting all these thoughts that you're having, right? It's going to a database somewhere, and all these companies in the US, they have backdoors to all these intel agencies. This is why this movie Minority Report is giving you a glimpse of where this technology can be leading the collective. And it's down a very dark, slippery slope of having total control of people's consciousness, that you lose free will, you don't even have control of your thoughts anymore, and you don't have privacy to the point where they can invade your privacy and then intercept you before any thought crime can be created. This is a huge invasion of people's free will, a violation, obviously, and it's against divine universal law.
All right, y'all, let's look at some relatable TikToks or some relatable videos, that me and you can relate to. Check this out.
I just saw a study that said 75% of all people are chronically dehydrated. I don't know how accurate that is, but I can tell you that as an ER nurse, I interpret blood and urine specimens for a living. And it's true, the majority of you are dehydrated. Young, old, male, female, doesn't matter. I don't know what the point of carrying these 4-pound Stanley cups and Yeti cups around with you is if you're not using them. So like, 8 ounce glasses, It's half your body weight in pounds and ounces. So if you're a 200-pound man, you need to drink 100 ounces of water. Real simple. Get yourself a good electrolyte supplement. You know, no dyes, no sugar, no calories. Put that in there. You don't want to do that, it's too expensive. Put a pinch of Redmond sea salt, squeeze a lemon if you want. But get that water in and watch some of the problems that you're having dissolve.
That water, you gotta have your water, man, for real. I was in Arizona. I walked up the mountain, I had no water, man. Oh my God, I was so ready to get back home. I was like, why did I do this, bro? And then I had watermelon at the house, so I'm like, man, I need to get back home. I need to get back home and eat that watermelon. Like, real. That was the first day I was like, I am dehydrated. Like, man, I need some water.
There's a reason billionaires have bunkers. There is a reason billionaires have bunkers. There's a reason billionaires have bunkers.
Because they can't go to space. Alright.
So at the ripe age of 11, I had come to the conclusion that all life really is figuring out ways to waste time until we die. And I don't know if that is the right mindset to have, but I've been living with that burden ever since. So at the ripe...
I mean, she got a point, though. But life be having some good moments. You can't lie. You be having some good moments in your life.
This will be the magnum opus of society if this can be achieved. I can't explain the vibes, it's just speaking to me. When we can effectively integrate technology and nature, it's hard to imagine anybody being depressed. Who in their right mind wouldn't want to live here? This is known as the solar punk aesthetic, and I'm praying I get to experience it before I die. This will be...
Y'all know what type of tree this is? What type of tree is this? I'm going to ask ChatGPT. AI? Again?
Free tree for me. This dude's getting rid of this rainbow eucalyptus, and I am gonna see how well it transplants to my property. I know it's always a risk of losing it, but it'll look this awesome while it dies on my property if I fail. Huh? I still get it, right? So awesome. Such an awesome tree. Doing the color like a mofo. Look at all those colors. Free?
That's a cool tree. I've never seen a tree that looked like somebody drew it in real life. Alright, that look like a tree that you would draw. Like a little kid just put all them colors together. That's what it looked like. Like what?
Why do they have dental chairs on the island? Why do they care that much about the kids' dental health? They didn't care too much about the kids because they were taking out their teeth so they wouldn't bite. That was in the files. They weren't just doing it to the kids, they were taking out the adults' teeth as well before they shipped them out on shipping containers. These people weren't just staying on the island, no. And the people who were buying them didn't want them to have teeth. What good are their teeth to them? No, if anything, a teeth is like a hindrance. No, they were taking out their teeth before they ship them worldwide through the seas, through the ocean, on shipping containers to different continents to the predator class, because that's what we're calling them now. Not the elite. They're elites for what? What the fuck is elite about you? You are the predator class, okay? By the hundreds of thousands, these people are being shipped out with no teeth. The level of this is something we cannot even possibly begin to comprehend, but we need to understand that it's real, and we need to do something about it now. All of this is real, and people are pretending like it's not. Why do they have...
It's like we live in like a Black Mirror episode.
Fucking stand that you've been wired to the cloud, and they created an engineering interface, meaning that they took the chakras, okay? And they wired them. All these chakras are wired to these little stars on the body that I post here, and they're called nodes, so they're a little N. Then they have these big things, I gotta get a different color so you can understand. Then over top of your heart is something called a radio frequency sync. And what that does is it collects signals and makes them stronger. These people that have enslaved us in such a way that once I do finally get the good humans of the world to be like, you mean like, wait a minute, like, can I try to understand you crazy woman because you won't shut up? Yeah, I'm not shutting up. It's not going to happen. This is worse than Egypt. You want to spray a nanopolymer on a polygon and have it grab up my skin or try to, that's one thing. But this is totally different. But you're so upset. You're going to be way more pissed than me. Trust me. I know how to use my body part. I can hear things coming. I do it all the time to teach people how to use their body part. You don't even know you have one yet. So here's some magnets. I would never take these magnets, put super glue on them, and put them on my fingernails. Why? Well, because then if I use Gorilla Glue to do that, it's going to tear my nail off. Duh. So I make teeny tiny little electromagnetic fields. Back in 2005. 2005, we have 802.15.4. Okay? That is the IEEE standard for routing data through human tissue. Zigbee and Bluetooth. Well, gosh, it looks exactly like that, doesn't it? Look at the little symbols. Yeah. Math, going back and forth. Signals between human brains. You mean human biofields, the electromagnetic fields of humans? To do what? To watch their empathy, telepathy, precognition, and telekinetics, because we wirelessly tissue engineer to make sure that none of that's happening for you. That belongs to the military, too. Fucking stand that you've been wired to the cloud, and
No, but I don't know if I understand what she's saying or I do. No. What y'all think about that right there?
Why are more people not waking up to this sociopathic, demonic, Black Mirror-esque society we are living in now? Like, is anyone else just terrified and absolutely confused right now? Why are...
It does feel like we like in a Black Mirror episode.
Have you guys heard the conspiracy theory that in order for human evolution to work, the humans first needed to become addicted to pain and suffering? So this was done by introducing meat to the humans to get them addicted to eating meat. Because when the animal is killed, fear and suffering is transferred, that frequency, into the meat. And if we have the humans eat that frequency, they will become addicted to fear and suffering. That one's sick.
Never heard that theory. Kind of makes sense too, though.
A lot of y'all are pissing me off. Everybody is still worried about, I gotta go to work, I gotta pay bills. That's how this is going to keep going. Do y'all not realize that? Well, you don't want me to be homeless. I'm not trying to be homeless. You can get evicted. Bro, if you keep funding this monster, if you keep showing them that you're still going to go to work, nothing is going to change. Nothing will change until everybody gets uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable. And that's the problem. Y'all so focused on work, that's funding them. Y'all so focused on paying bills, taxes, that's funding them. Nothing is going to change if you're still going to work. Nothing is going to change if you're still paying bills. I get some of y'all have kids or whatever, but if you're still going to be complicit in what is going on, your kids are still going to grow up in this kind of country because you're too scared to get uncomfortable. You're too scared to quit your job.
Everything has to be repeated. Everything, in order to wake people up, they have to go back to the same situation. This is called, in my mind, this is related to the idea of a timeline shift. So just like they may have been fooled by the COVID Holocaust, and they may have fallen for it, the same announcers, like that CNN announcer, who they say is Hugh Hefner's son, I don't know his name, but that he is now talking about Q. So the same people, the same situation, the same news work and networks, and I assume this is why the white hats are not just taking down the whole news, the bad media, the evil media, the mainstream media, which is run by the CIA and the FBI, and it's all like a family. All the parasites get together, and if they're not working directly in the cabinet, their wives are working on CNBC. They're all in bed together, and they all probably eat children, and this kind of thing. It's like, what are you doing next Saturday? It's like, I'm gonna have some pizza. I mean, this is anyway, there is a growing sense of outrage. What I'm reading on X, finding out, and this is what Q told us, is that this will unite humanity across all lines, because the children, everything is about the kids, and you can't do a more. There's almost I can't imagine anything more horrible than hurting a child. I mean, what could be worse? I don't know. But that's what the Satanists like to do, because it goes against the idea of the divine. It hurts divinity in their sick way of thinking. So that we have to have a timeline. We have to be faced with the same situation, the same guys, the same reporters telling you a different message, but you have to go back and fix the timeline by repeating the same situation, the same set of circumstances that you were involved with, but having different results, which is also kind of linked up to the idea of game theory in my mind. Everything has to be.
TikTok is slowly rolling out a feature called Loco, where you can see nearby posts and videos from people nearby. I don't like that. I'm not a real person in real life. Y'all don't know me in real life. Why would they do that? They say that they track your location based on your IP address and your SIM card. Yet if you go in your settings, there's no option to toggle your location settings on and off. So TikTok can track you at all times, and you can't turn it off. It's getting a little dystopian. TikTok is slow.
According to reporting today, Donald Trump's name appears in the unredacted Epstein files more than 1 million times. Yes, you heard that right. His name appears more than 1,000,000 times. Now, this statement comes from Democrat Jamie Raskin, who recently viewed the unredacted Epstein files. And Jamie has publicly stated now that Trump's name appears, like I said, more than 1 million times in the unredacted files. Now, we already know that Trump's name has appeared 10, 20, 30,000 times in the Epstein files that we have seen. And we've also seen that they have been redacting some very curious things, like, for example, the word don't without the apostrophe, which some have interpreted as being an attempt to redact Don T, or Donald Trump. Now, we're going to be seeing a lot about the Epstein files coming out in the next few days. I'm going to be staying on top of this for all of y'all. You know I've been on this since day one, and it is crazy. The co-conspirators that are officially being confirmed, the calls for justice from the halls of Congress. I mean, this thing is blowing up to a proportion that I didn't think it could possibly even blow up to. So just get ready.
Your conscious mind is in complete control of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind creates everything that you see in the world, but you are in charge of what the subconscious mind is creating. So what are you telling the subconscious mind to create? What are you telling the subconscious mind to create in your life? Is your life the way that you want it to be right now? Ask yourself that right now. Be completely real with yourself. And if you say no, it isn't the way that you want it to be, then it's your fault. It's no one else's fault. You are in control of the subconscious mind with your conscious states, your state of consciousness. You are telling the subconscious mind what to create in your world, what to attract to you, what to give you. What you're seeing, hearing, tasting, everything is all based on what you are telling the subconscious mind. And you control this through your conscious state with your attention and your present moment awareness and what you believe and consent to be true of your world. So if you are entertaining any thoughts or feelings that don't contribute to your success or the world that you want to be living in, then you are telling the subconscious mind that you like that and you want more of that and you want to live in that world. If you have regrets of your past and you're beating yourself up about these things, or what somebody said to you a week ago, or what somebody did to you a month ago, if you are focused on these things and these feeling states, you are entertaining these thoughts and feelings. You are telling the subconscious mind to create more of that. You are subscribing to that happening to you over and over and over again. Your conscious
Well, looky, we have a picture from the Epstein files. And who's that? You're right, that's Zuckerberg. But look who that is. That's Musk. And if you're wondering who else was at this dinner, oh, don't you fret, my pet, because we have a confirmation list. So here's the list. Notice obviously Elon Musk, Epstein, Zuckerberg, Peter Thiel. Surprise, surprise. Even the New York Post picked it up, talking about Jeffrey Epstein and his wild dinner with Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, I had that email too. In this email, Epstein's asked if he's in New York in August, and he says, I'm not sure yet. I had dinner with Mark Zuckerberg, Musk, and Hoffman. Wild. Now, this is 7 years after he's been convicted, and he's done time in prison for what he did to little girls. Why would you still be meeting with him? Well, looky, we have a...
Alright, y'all, that's gonna wrap up today's video. If you did enjoy that, please be sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
I got the perfect song for the kids to sing. And all my people that's drunk.